Come satisfy your appetite for wealth with baking profits. Now, here's your hosts, Mike and Brad.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Baking Profits. We're your hosts, Mike, aka the DeFi Donut.
And I'm Brad, aka the Bread Maker.
And today we're going to dive in and talk about what is Baking Profits. We're going to look at our infamous Cinnamon Toast bot, do a short market analysis, and really kind of dive into the mindset of that average crypto trader. Now, if you would like to follow the crumbs, you can do so on our socials at Baking Profits, at Bread Bites, at DeFi Donut, and at the Bread Maker.
And be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Let's jump into the episode.
So I know a lot of people are probably out there wondering, like, what is Baking Profits and why are we doing this?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of our biggest reasons for doing Baking Profits is to deliver content in a different medium for our users, and it allows us to expand on topics that we've previously talked about, share our knowledge in the crypto space, share our knowledge in the TradeFi space. We have a lot of knowledge and a lot of information in a lot of different areas, and there's only so much that we can provide via text and via blog articles, via Discord, via all these other mediums. And it's something that we talked about for years and years of running this podcast and sharing our thoughts and feelings on different things. And I think the timing was right with our business with Bread Bites and the following that we have and guests that we have lined up and things like that. I think it was a good time for us to jump in and provide the content that we've always wanted to.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I also think that there's that credibility piece to it as well. People get a chance to see that, oh, these guys are, we're real humans. We're not robots sitting on the other side of the screen. And we do know what we're talking about. We're real people just like them in crypto, trying to make it just like everybody else. And, we do have that previous experience that we do bring to Bread Bites, and we would like to then share that and educate other people through Baking Profits. So I think it's going to tie together really well with Bread Bites, and I'm actually looking forward to seeing what happens in the future.
Yeah, man, I think we have a plethora of topics to talk about. There's so many areas that we've wanted to talk about in a video or audio type of format and that we've never done before. So I think it's going to give us an opportunity to do that. I think it's going to be able to give us an opportunity to share market analysis in real time. It's going to give us the opportunity to share information about our bots and dive a little bit deeper into our strategies, share future plans that we have, get information from the community or questions that the community has and answer them in real time via an audio or video format. So I'm really excited to kick this thing off and really, get some episodes under our belt, because I think what we have to say is important and educational and informational. And, we got a lot of good things that I think the average crypto person could listen to and glean good information from and make educated decisions in the crypto market, and maybe even, make money and profit in the future, or pick different strategies or different ways of going about the crypto markets to, help them out financially, in the long run.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more. I think, especially when we get a chance to talk about our bots, I know that the biggest question that we get, the most frequent question that we get is, why the heck are you guys releasing a long-only bot in a bear market? And what I'm referring to is Cinnamon Toast. It's an Ethereum trading bot. And yes, it is long only. And I think it confused a lot of people when we jumped out into the market out of nowhere, really. I mean, you had a pretty huge following, but no one really thought that we were going to come in and create a trading bot. So it was pretty cool to see. But yeah, I mean, it really confused a lot of people. And I think, even though we've explained this answer to our community through Discord, and Twitter and many times, I think it's still a big, topic of confusion. So I think it's good that we get to clear the air now. So why is Cinnamon Toast a long only bot?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it goes back to our time in traditional finance. I mean, we spent 6, 7 years trading in traditional finance. A lot of what we were doing in that space was just traditional trading. And then we also did options trading. A lot of what we were doing was on the call side of things and not as much on the put side. Similar with just our regular trading, we were much more on the long side of things than we were on the short side. And I think the strategies that we built were really well versed and able to handle that. And we obviously saw, pretty consistent profits, and we're able to trade our way up significantly financially over that time. And we ultimately decided, like, hey, we're heavy in the crypto space. We should take our strategies that worked really well in the stock market and then put them into crypto and see what happens. And, ultimately we were able to bring our main strategy over that we used in the traditional finance space, bring it over to crypto. And, there were some tweaks that we needed to do, but for the most part, it worked pretty well right off the bat. And we were able to see that we could bring a strategy from traditional finance that we used for years and years and years, apply it to crypto and achieve greater results because of the volatility and the movement that we see in crypto compared to the stock market.
Yeah, and I think that another reason why we're really pushing the long only bot is that it eliminates that, the over trading aspect. So basically, when we are set up for a pretty sweet long, we don't want a short to interrupt that, and vice versa. If we are in a good short, we don't want a long to come in and screw that up. So it does eliminate a lot of trades, but in my opinion, and I think our data has shown that it's eliminating a lot of bad trades, which is positive. And I think, another thing that a lot of people don't understand is the dynamics between a bullish market and a bearish market. And what I mean by that is that in a bullish market, we have a lot of buyers. They're buying the momentum, but we also have a lot of people that are selling and taking profit. And when we have that situation, occur, you often see that the sells are being bought up pretty quickly, and thus the price is just mooning, right? It's just going up. In a bearish market, we tend to have a lot of people kind of second guess. And yes, there are big sales, but most of those sales are not coming from the majority of the people, right? The majority of the people are like, whoa, we're going to hold on for a bit. We're going to wait. And I hate to say it, but in the retail sense, there's a lot of hopium, like, oh, price is going to come back. Price is going to come back. And so what happens is, people start to buy the dips, those type of things, but we end up in a sideways, what I like to call the stall. And the stall is perfect for Cinnamon Toast because it is trading in this sideways market. It's also trading on the staircase down. And this is how I've described it many times is as if you think about the price action, in a bearish market, we go down, but then we have that slight reversal before we go down again. And that slight reversal, that is where Cinnamon Toast is designed to perform.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great explanation of it. And I think kind of like what you said, in a bear market, in the most scenarios, we're kind of getting this stair stepper down. I mean, there are times where there's big moves down, but for the most part, when you're in a bear market, you're kind of getting this gradual decline in price. But within that gradual decline in price, you're getting, some slight upticks in price. So maybe you drop 2%, but then you gain back 0.5% or 1%, and then you drop another 5%, and then you gain back 2 or 3%. And although ultimately, when you're looking at like the daily chart or some of the longer time frame charts, you're seeing the market just go down. But when you're looking at some of the intraday and some of the shorter time frames, there is pumps within those dumps, and that is where Cinnamon Toast excels the most. Not to say it's bad in a bull market. I think it's very good in a bull market. We've seen several times in bullish periods within this bear market, like in January, where it's gone on 15, 16 trade wins in a row. It's just usually is not going to take as many trades in a bull market because there's less of those drops and less of those pullback opportunities to present entries and exit opportunities. Whereas when things are more bearish, there's more of those opportunities within the market, and Cinnamon Toast ends up taking advantage of those.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we found that there was also a secondary added bonus to this is a good portion of people really can't short trade, and I'm not gonna lie, that was news to me when I found that out. And we found that a lot of people really appreciated Cinnamon Toast because it was the first long only buy on the market that people could put their money into and trade. And some of our longest subscribers, going all the way back to pretty much launch, some of those individuals are, staying with Cinnamon Toast for that specific reason. So, I'd like to say, oh, we thought about that in advance, but that was just the cherry on top. We do get asked all the time, when are you going to add shorts to Cinnamon Toast? And for the longest time, we just hit them with, we're never adding shorts. That's not what Cinnamon Toast is designed for. Until essentially shortbread was created, and shortbread was designed to be what I think a lot of people hope for Cinnamon Toast. It's a long and short, version of Cinnamon Toast. The longs are essentially the same. We have fine-tuned shortbread to take a little bit more trades, be a little bit more loosey-goosey on those entries, but I feel like it is designed really well and also pairs really well with Cinnamon Toast.
Yeah, I mean, I think the same. Shortbread for me, I think is one of my favorites because it basically takes Cinnamon Toast on the long side fairly similarly. Like you said, there's some slight variations, but for the most part, it's very, very similar to Cinnamon Toast on the long side. And then the short side, we have a lot of different features and functionality. I think there's a lot of advanced features that no other bot you see on the market has, that Shortbread has that nobody else has. One of those is Shortbread operating off a multiple time frame analysis. That is something super cool. That was kind of a groundbreaking add-on that we had, that we kind of figured out. And that's multiple time frame analysis, for those that don't know, is essentially, whenever you're trading, a lot of times the more time frames you can verify a trade on, the higher probability you have of hitting that trade. So, let's say you want to trade on the 5-minute or the 15-minute chart. Well, if you're able to say that the 5-minute, the 15-minute, and the 1 hour all line up for the same parameters that you're trying to trade, that is going to be a higher likelihood of you having a profitable trade than maybe if you only were just like, the only thing lined up right now is the 5-minute. I'm going to go ahead and take this trade. But maybe the 15-minute and the 1 hour are not lined up for the trade strategy that you have. So you're at a little bit of a disadvantage in that situation. Whereas in this situation, Shortbread is able to look at multiple time frames and identify, are multiple time frames lined up for this trade position before we enter it? And it's a really cool functionality, a really cool feature. And there's a couple other minor features that are also embedded in Shortbread that Cinnamon Toast doesn't have. So I think that those features alone set Shortbread apart. But I think having the long side of Cinnamon Toast, which is already very, very successful, makes Shortbread successful. But then kind of having a couple of these other features is a little bit of the cherry on top.
Yeah, and you kind of mentioned it, but Shortbread is your favorite bot?
Oh yeah, Shortbread easily my favorite bot. I've been saying this basically since, Shortbread has gone through a good bit of iterations, to be fair. Early on when we launched it, it didn't do what we wanted it to do. We coded it up, the strategy, we felt confident in it, but it wasn't really 100% where we wanted it to be. But in that moment, we felt like it was 100% where we wanted it to be. But once we got more data and analyzed that data, we realized that it wasn't really at that level of like, okay, this is, something that we feel super confident in. And for me now, basically, since we kind of did a couple of large overhauls to the strategy, one of which was kind of taking Cinnamon Toast's recipe on the long side and embedding it into Shortbread in, what was that, like mid-February, we made that update. And since then, it's been our top performing strategy. And I remember whenever we got to mid-February and we overhauled the strategy and we released it, I said this is going to be our top performing bot going forward. So far, that has rung true, and I continue to stand by it. I will stand by it. Cinnamon Toast, again, has been our top performer since we launched in August, but I think over time, Shortbread is going to kind of dethrone that. It just takes more trades. The logic that is built into it and the features and functionality that we build into it are more advanced than any bot that you've seen on the market. So I think long-term, we're going to see that bot prevails, over all the rest of them. I'm curious, though, What are your thoughts on shortbread? What are your thoughts on our bot lineup? Do you have a specific favorite that you prefer over shortbread or prefer over any of the others?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree a lot of those points on shortbread. I think shortbread is going to be, it's going to be better performing than cinnamon toast long term. It's because it's going to have more trade opportunities and it's going to be able to take advantage of more market types. But I think that, that fast trading, DGEM, Cosmic Cupcake is going to be my favorite. I think it's going to surprise everybody. I think it's going to take them on a wild roller coaster ride, but I think in the end, people are going to end up in a good place. I hope. I mean, this is it. All of these bots are very special, to me, and I'm sure you as well. And I want them all to succeed, but yeah, if I had to pit them against each other, I think we're going to see bigger wins and losses with Cosmic Cupcake. And I think that is going to suit the crypto audience a little bit better. I think Cinnamon Toast is designed very well for standard traditional markets. And I think a lot of people would be surprised if they found out or learned, what Cinnamon Toast really is to us. It's like, it's in a way it's its own algorithm, and we have applied it to so many altcoins, and we have data on all of these different assets that is essentially Cinnamon Toast. And Cinnamon Toast, it runs off Ethereum, but hopefully one day it'll be able to run off of anything.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's for sure. Going back to what you said about Cosmic, I mean, for those of you that don't know, Cosmic Cupcake is our Atom bot, so it's one of our altcoin bots, and it's pretty highly volatile. It can see huge swings to the upside, pretty big swings to the downside as well. So, I do think that Cosmic in the long run will be good. I think it's got a lot of the same logic that shortbread has in it built into Atom, but Atom price swings are so much more volatile than something like Ethereum that shortbread runs off of. So, it's really somewhat dependent on how that market movement ends up taking place. But I think it's able to capture both sides of the market. But there is you kind of have to have balls of steel if you're gonna trade Cosmic Cupcake, in my opinion, because shortbread is a little bit safer, a little bit more mild mannered, and Cosmic's a little bit on the rowdy side. So you got to really kind of go in knowing that you're going to see some swings in your account balance to the upside and to the downside, and you got to kind of decide, are you comfortable with that or not comfortable with that? If you are, then ride the wave, and you probably are going to end up being pretty good in the long run. If you're not, shortbread or Cinnamon Toast is probably a little bit of a safer bet.
Yeah, I think the drawdown is a tough pill to swallow. I also think that there's just so many people that are accustomed to just wanting to see trades happen. They're forcing trades is what it is. And I think that a lot of times, Cosmic Cupcake does have really good entries, but it swings so wildly with the market. And what we're seeing now with Atom is it's kind of decoupled in a way from. It's super weird.
It's like the only altcoin that seems to be doing that, which sometimes is good, sometimes is bad. We've seen a couple times where the market has gone ham and then Atom is either flat or just dumping. But then we've also seen the reverse side where the market is dumping and Atom's just up. And it's like, I got a list of, I don't know, probably 25, maybe 30 coins on my watch list on TradingView. Most of them are the top 20 to 25 coins in market cap. And some days I'll be scrolling through, every single coin's down 1%, 2%, 3%, 5%. There's Atom, green. And I'm like, what's this thing doing? Like, what is happening? It's been very interesting. It's really, I've noticed that specifically over the last 2 to 3 weeks. I feel like it's just all of a sudden like a new thing where Atom just does whatever it wants to do. It doesn't really care about the rest of the market. Yeah. Which, like I said, sometimes good, sometimes bad.
It's kind of acting like when, crypto heavily followed the stock market for a long time. It still kind of does, but there was a pivotal point there where suddenly the stock market started doing things a little bit differently than crypto. And that's essentially what we want to see. We want to see the price action, especially in crypto, not be, I guess, manipulated by U.S. or any foreign market in general. But yeah, it seems like, if people consider Ethereum or Bitcoin extremely volatile, then altcoins are,
Another
nuclear.
level.
Yeah,
That's another level.
It's crazy. And so you mentioned you had 25 in your watch list. If I'm picking your brain right now and I'm like, pick out what is your favorite altcoin, thinking about like in terms of longevity, potential growth, like you're a value investor, you've got that Warren Buffett sense. What are you putting your money in for a long term?
Yeah, so I'll probably go fairly safe, to be honest with you. I don't, there's a lot of altcoins out there. I mean, if you look at like, I've seen people share screenshots on Twitter in the past of like, the altcoins that were there, that were the top 5 or top 10, 5 years ago in crypto. And they don't like, some of them don't even exist. Some of them are like not even in the top 100 anymore. So, if I'm thinking like safe, kind of like if I'm a legit value investor, almost kind of like from the stock market side where I'm like, all right, I'm going to invest in something that's pretty safe that I feel like is going to be around in 5 years and pretty profitable, I'm going BNB. I know there's always FUD about Binance. There's always FUD about BNB coin. But let me tell you something. If Binance goes down, crypto is on its last breath and it is going to be almost 100% dead. Like, I mean, Bitcoin's easy going sub 10K if Binance goes down. I mean, Ethereum probably gonna be like $300. If like everything is gonna go so far to the core of the earth that it's gonna be a tough rise back. Binance runs everything in crypto, and if Binance were to go under, the crypto that we know right now no longer exists. So I'd feel comfortable attaching, my carriage to that horse, in the long run. I don't think you're going to make crazy money. Like, I'm thinking of this from a value investing standpoint, like you said. Like, I'm looking at like, okay, 5 years from now, I'm not trying to make 10,000% gains. I'm like, if I can make, 10 to 20% a year over a 5-year period and be, at 100, 150%, whatever, I could easily see BNB being a, $800 to $1,000 token down the road, in a long-term mindset. But because I believe that if Binance were to go under, obviously BNB is going to be toast, but crypto is going to be so screwed that it doesn't even matter. Like everything that you hold you're going to be down massively on, regardless of what you invest in, if Binance goes under. So I feel pretty comfortable just attaching myself to that and running with it. So, like I said, there's some other coins in there that I would feel comfortable, like, long-term holding, and not necessarily like YOLO playing it, but like understanding that there's a possibility this could go to zero. There's a possibility I could get like 1,000% gains on it or something crazy. But if I'm coming at it from like a smart mindset, BNB is my choice.
I like that. Yes, I agree. Binance does get a lot of FUD, and I do see a lot of people, especially on Twitter, that just talk massive shit about Binance and want them to essentially fail. But I really, kind of like you said, like I don't think that they're thinking about the repercussions here, because Binance fails, it has a massive trickle effect. We saw what happened with FTX, and that is not even in comparison to Binance.
Yeah, like 5x what happened to FTX, and you got a Binance situation. Yeah. Like you saw, I don't even remember where Ethereum's price was, but I remember for a handful of days there, the market was down like 10 to 15% daily for like somewhere between 3, 5, 7 days. And, a lot of the markets tanked so hard over the FTX situation. We're still not even recovered from a liquidity standpoint.
Yeah.
Like if you go back and look at the liquidity and the money that was flowing through crypto, during or prior to early November when FTX went down versus now, we're not doing anywhere close to the volume. Bitcoin, Ethereum, all these other coins. And I'm like, if Binance goes under, so whenever I see these people that post on Twitter or anywhere else and like almost encourage Binance going under, I'm like, dude, you're a goddamn idiot. Because like, do you understand that crypto is going to be so screwed if that happens? It makes no sense to me whenever anybody says that. Like, part of me wonders, I'm like, is this other exchanges like trying to push this FUD to like, I don't really understand the narrative. Like, what anybody that's in crypto should want Binance to flourish like a mofo, because if it doesn't, it's gonna be bad news bears for everybody.
Yeah, I think it's just engagement farming, trying to get
Probably.
likes, trying to be controversial. One of the things that I have seen personally, but I know, is that you make a ton of money as an exchange here in the crypto space, and it would be way, way, way smarter for Binance to just be legitimate and play by the rules, do everything right, and this can be a 100-year company easily. Yeah, they could, pull some shenanigans, get caught up in some messes, and make a little bit of money really quickly, and then lose it all and get caught up in all this whatever, this trouble. But that's so unnecessary. I feel like CZ and his team, at least on the surface, they operate with integrity, and I hope behind the scenes they operate with the same integrity, because if so, I agree, BNB would be a perfect asset to invest in long term.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, as much as I'd like to hope that that's the case,
you gotta be careful.
No, I don't think so. I think every one of these exchanges is doing some super shady practices in the background. I mean, I feel like a lot of these people are just super greedy, and in my opinion, I don't know, because I'm not in that position, but I know that these crypto exchanges are making bank on these on their trading fees. They're making like insane bank,
Especially Binance.
daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, especially Binance. And so you would think that they would be comfortable with that, but I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of shady practices going around, whether that's on the market making side or just like, I think the access that they have to information. Like, as a Binance, if I'm putting myself in the shoes of a Binance employee and I have all this access to all this information of who's buying when and what's happening in order books and details on money flow and all this kind of stuff, it's hard for me to think that none of these people are just manipulating it, taking advantage of it, anything like that. I think every single exchange is doing some shady practices. As much as I'd like that not to be the case, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised on the stock side if the same thing happens.
Yeah, and I mean, there are definitely some questions about Binance and its origins, and what's going on with that. But yes, there are going to be bad actors. There are going to be people that play the system, that use that knowledge to their advantage. But I mean, I would assume that this is very compartmentalized to the point where it's like, not everybody's going to know, all of this information. Like, hopefully the people they put in that department are getting paid a good bit of money, not to do this. But yeah, to your point, it's usually not like, yes, CZ might be super honorable and he might be perfect for leading, Binance, but there could be some, bad actors within that could crumble the entire system.
True. Yeah, I mean, greed is a hell of a drug. I mean, I'm sure we'll probably talk about that when we get into the mindset piece of things. But I think these exchanges, I think there's people out there that either run the exchange or work for the exchange, that they have access to some information that most people don't have access to, and they can severely take advantage of that. Yeah. I think it goes back to, like, think about it just from like the U.S. government side of things. When you think about, these members of, like,
don't do it.
The government, when you think of these members of the government and the the Senate and the Congress and all these people that have been trading the markets, and just how timely they have exited their trades or entered their trades, and then the market just happens to have some news. Or, I mean, even when I think about all the time, going back to COVID times, like, dude, so many of members of Congress and stuff offloaded so much shares or ended up buying the bottom, selling the tops, buying the bottoms. And it's obvious that they had inside information. And it's obviously they took advantage of it. It's like, I don't 100% know how much these guys are getting paid, but I mean, I'm sure some of them are getting paid pretty handsomely. And it's just, again, greed is a hell of a drug, and they just want more and more and more and more.
That's true. They're trying to create freaking, like, exponential generational wealth. Nancy Pelosi. She's the greatest trader of all time.
Best trader, 100% win rate, basically.
It is insane. And these are the same people who are saying that crypto is a scam, that you shouldn't be investing in it. These are pump and dumps. They're taking your money, blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, they're literally pumping and dumping this shit. They are taking all of the profit and then they're releasing the bad news. So retail people are left holding all the bags. Yeah, I hate it. I hate it. And I hate the fact that the people that are in charge of creating these regulations and operating like this, they don't even really understand crypto. I mean, this is a dead horse, but...
Too old.
Yeah.
Too old.
Oh my God. You see the pictures of some of these people and it's like, what? It's like my grandma's grandma.
Yeah.
What the hell, man?
I'm sitting here thinking, my grandma, I'm like, I would not want her in office or anything like that. I wouldn't even want my parents in office. And I'm like, there's no way. And that's a different conversation. But yeah, I think, they got to cap the age on the government side of things.
Absolutely.
These fools are so old and it's like, they're not with the times. They're not staying, kind of looking ahead and looking around the corner and trying to identify what's next. They're living in their old ways and not understanding things. And it's just bad news for the average Joe.
Yeah. I mean, imagine explaining a meme coin to one of these people. Like, imagine going to the Senate, Congress, whatever, and just being like, this is PEPE. And PEPE is a meme coin. What does it do? It does nothing.
I actually think that's a bad look for crypto.
Terrible.
I mean, it's funny and it's very crypto-esque, but it's not a good look for trying to make crypto something that ends up being mainstream. To have a coin that has no value and no nothing, and it just is a meme.
It's a joke.
And it's a joke, and it's able to go over a $1 billion market cap, doesn't really sell the average person on crypto. It's like, we really need the big players and the smart, people and the technology to really shine, and not the dumbass stuff to shine. Because if the dumbass stuff takes the headlines, it's just another reason for the average person to be like, yeah, crypto's whack.
Yeah, there are definitely people outside of crypto that I talk about, and they're regurgitating the same narrative that everybody does. And, some of them have good points, especially when they talk about how, like Elon Musk alone will manipulate the price of Doge. And whether or not he is personally taking advantage of it, or if he just thinks like, okay, if I do this, there are going to be some people out there that make it. He might truly think that, and that is it's a problem in of itself. It's like I'm a prophet, style thing. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to see like how easy it is. I mean, I've told you like just with PEPE alone, like I saw this person talk about if you'd invested $1,000 into PEPE yesterday, you would be a millionaire, and he did it 6 days in a row. 6 days in a row. I'm like,
how much PEPE did you buy?
None. I would never buy that.
Yeah.
But the problem is it's making people millions of dollars, and it really does have an impact on the psyche of a trader because, as you constantly see this around you, you start to get bummed out. You start to feel FOMO, and you want to just jump right into it, which is a huge problem.
Huge problem. Yeah. I mean, I think we can't, that again goes back to the meme coin thing and giving, crypto a little bit of a bad rap is that, so many people are going to get burned on this deal. So many people. I think last time I checked, Pepe's at like 1.6 on its price, whatever. I don't know. It's like 5 zeros and then 1.6, but it was up to like 4. And so it's, retraced so much significantly. And I'm sure there's so many bag holders on that at the moment. And it's
it's all people that FOMO'd in. They saw those type of tweets and they got influenced.
And they're like, you know what? I'm gonna be a millionaire in a couple days. I'm doing it. And I mean, while those early investors did it, all these other people are getting dumped on at this point. It's
sad.
like, you see it happen pretty cyclical with these meme coins, I mean, Bonk was probably the most recent one that I can think of before Pepe that was like that did this same thing, and it was like it went up, it went crazy for a couple weeks, and then it pulled back massively, and everybody got caught holding a bag because they saw a couple people that posted some screenshot of their massive wins, and then they were like, "Screw it, I'm in," and then obviously get dumped on just like most other meme coins.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know personally you have a thing for a specific meme coin. And I don't know if it's because your dog is the logo or what, but it's not the OG logo.
Not the OG, man.
It's not Doge.
I'm telling you, man, Sheeb is the play. I'm telling you, of all meme coins, in my opinion, if long-term investment, if you want to I know we were talking about long-term investments before, I was talking about BNB. If my riskier long-term investment, Sheeb. I think Sheeb is going to do well. I think they've got actually like a pretty good framework of stuff. They're not just, I don't think they're just a meme coin. I think they have, they have other coins that work with Sheeb. They have, potential blockchain network and, other features and functionality. They're like building something.
It's interesting.
Now, I mean, Sheeb has gone down significantly throughout the bear market, just like mostly all the altcoins have. But I do really think there's significant value in Sheeb. I really think that of the meme coins, a lot of the meme coins, they're actually there's some level of utility there. And I know a lot of people throw around the utility in crypto, and most of it is not utility. But I really do think that Sheeb could, you could, in my opinion, easily see a 10x come bull market timeframes. I mean, it already was. If it 10x from its current price, I'm pretty sure it would be near-ish all-time highs. So, it wouldn't even really be breaking out into new all-time highs. It would just be retracing itself back to where it was during, the bullish time frame in 2021. So I personally, have a bag of Sheeb. I've been kind of holding out because I do think the market's going to retrace a little bit further. So I think there's an opportunity there to buy a little bit lower than where we're currently at. But if I had to put my money on a meme coin that I feel like is going to generate some decent value, I mean, it's not going to do anything like Pepe and go, 5,000x or anything crazy like that. I don't think that's going to happen because it's already a pretty established coin. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's in the top 50 in market cap, so it's not going to make a massive jump. But in my opinion, during the next bull run, you could expect a 10x out of Sheeb, which, I mean, that's pretty good returns depending on how much money you put into it.
Yeah, I mean, you paid for your honeymoon with Sheeb. I never got into that. If you mentioned utility, if I'm thinking of a meme coin and I'm thinking of utility, the perfect meme coin utility, I mean, I hate to say it, is Pepe, because it's actually a meme, and you could create NFTs, one-for-one memes. You could, they could be sent around the crypto space. I know there's so many crypto social networks, and it's like, hey, maybe every 100 times your NFT gets pushed around or how many likes it gets, you get a certain dump of that, project's token or what. I mean, I could see it integrating into all these different things. And of course, with it being ingrained into this degen society, it's probably going to have value on its own, similar to Pepe.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think, I think with Pepe, I think there's opportunity there. I'd be curious to know what is going to happen, with the creator of Pepe. I would be interested to know, is this person, someone that's like, oh wow, I did not think this was going to happen. I need to get some plans of what I'm going to do, what the next thing is going to be to keep the momentum and the hype and everything up. Or is this a person that already kind of pre-planned, yo, I'm gonna make this coin, this thing's gonna pop off, I got all these ideas lined up? But either way, I think there is some opportunity there, whether it's NFTs or other kinds of promotion, memes, things like that. I mean, I think Pepe does have some staying power. I think it's going to retrace pretty significantly. For it to go from 0 to $1 billion market cap in 3 weeks,
Yeah, it's
I don't
scary.
think I think it's going to retrace heavily, but I do think there's a possibility it could have some level of staying power. I just don't think, in my opinion, buying right now not a smart idea. I think there's significant retrace still expected from the coin before, but I do think there's a possibility it could come back up. It could
It's
be.
just so stupid
It's
when you
so
think about
stupid,
it.
dude.
It's
It's
like
so dumb.
I think we're just sitting here talking about it. I'm just like, this is so. But
It derails the professionalness
Yes.
of like being an investor, and we're talking about a freaking
frog meme.
frog meme coin that generated over $1 billion market cap, and is a I think
hard to-
as of right now I think it's a top 50 market capped coin. And you got to think about all those projects. Like I gotta think like, okay, if I'm a legitimate project and I've got legit utility, legit reason for my coin,
Yeah.
stuff like that,
So
and
depressing.
I am like, I don't know, a top like 300 coin or something like that, and I've built my way up there, and then I see PEPE just jump me like that, I'm just like, what the hell is going on here? Like, are
Yeah.
you for real? This coin has nothing, does nothing at all, and this thing is gone like this. And I've put in my work and time and effort into building this other coin, and this coin just comes out of nowhere and just takes the market by storm.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think meme coins are a business. I think you can set up a meme coin, create it, market it, put it out there, pay a shitload of influencers to talk about it on Twitter, and suddenly people start to see like, oh snap, this is getting a lot of hype. This is going to be the next thing. This is going to be it. Yes, and it's like a catch-22. It's just like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It will just happen. And I think people with tons of money, like if I was, let's just say, a hedge fund manager and I had a few extra $1 billion to invest into some high risk, opportunities, I might be looking at doing things like this.
For real?
I mean,
High risk, that is like ultra high risk. I'm thinking high risk of like a crypto standpoint. I'm thinking like, okay, Bitcoin and ETH might be a little bit medium risk, and I'm thinking like high risk is like a BNB or a Matic or an Atom or.
I mean, this is a gamble. This is a lottery ticket. This is a scratch off.
This is like
$1 billion
in another
scratch off.
realm of high risk, in my opinion. From an investor standpoint, if you're just like an average crypto Joe, it's not really.
I mean, but think about it from when I say the creator, like how much does it cost to create PEPE?
I mean, last time I looked at one, a lot of times you can create a coin for like a couple $1,000 or even less than that. So I'm sure it had to have not cost. I mean, if you're a coder, I'm pretty sure you can just do it for free. Like, I don't think there's really much of any cost. Maybe, I guess you would have to host it on a layer 1 or layer 2 or whatever, but maybe there's some cost associated there. I really don't know.
It's
too
all
much
marketing,
of it, but yeah,
if you think about it, it's all
it's
reaching out to
100%
influencers.
marketing.
Yeah.
But I wonder, I don't really know the backstory of PEPE too much. I'm like, did they pay a lot of people to get the hype up, or was it just like they dropped it and people knew the meme and it was just like boom, boom, boom?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I didn't follow that community very well, but
Yeah, me neither.
it's I don't know, like I said, meme coins could be its own business. I definitely think that there are organizations out there that are just building future meme coins, trying to make money, because I think that even a meme coin that fails miserably is still making the creators a ton of money.
Oh yeah.
And
Making bank.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's some 13-year-old kid living in his mom's basement that's just like, I'm going to create a little meme coin, and fucking is a millionaire.
It's peak crypto right there, man. That's peak crypto. Just a random Joe making millions of dollars when the real people that are grinding out there, they're not making millions of dollars. And it's just usually the way it goes with crypto. It's usually the smart people somehow are the ones that get screwed, and the dum-dums are the ones that make millions.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, like during some of these crazy, like especially node season, and I was looking at how much money people put into nodes, like as a collective, and what could have been done with that money.
Oh, yeah.
Legitimate businesses, problems being fixed, but instead we gave it to Fugazis. Who knows what happens to it? It went into this, that, or whatever, and nothing came out.
Yeah, that's easy billions with a B right there. That's easy billions
Oh, yeah.
of money that got, put into that. I mean, in general in crypto, I mean, there's so many, DAOs, nodes, and what it's kind of like there's always these seasons in crypto, and it's almost like every year there's a new season with a new like niche that is promising a specific return that never actually ends up paying it out, or the people that invest first make bank, everybody else gets screwed type of mentality. But yeah, there's a lot of money that ends up getting burned for sure.
I mean, I know we talked about meme coins, we talked about altcoins, but more importantly, Ethereum, Bitcoin. What is your take on this, like long term? And I'm speaking long term, like Warren Buffett long term.
Yeah, I mean, I feel pretty good about ETH and Bitcoin. I mean, I think obviously one of the biggest looming things is the regulation and what that's going to look like. So I think there's a little bit of a wild card there. In my opinion, I think regulation is going to be kind of a nothing burger in a way. I think it's going to help the U.S. and potentially not help some of the other countries a little bit more. I think there's going to be a little bit better, clearer picture of what the adoption looks like. But, I think looking at the market right now, I mean, I think, I expect us to be in kind of this rangy, bearish still period. I don't think we're out of the woods at the moment from where we were, over the past year and what the market's done throughout the past year. But so I wouldn't be surprised if we're in a little bit of a sideways downward market, or even maybe a little bit of a sideways upward market. I just don't expect big moves in either direction in the current phase. But I think long term, I do expect ETH to be a $4,000 to $5,000 to $6,000 token at minimum. I know when we were in super bullish times, there's a lot of people calling for 10K. I could see that happen. It's just really, there's so many variables, because there's a possibility that another, L1 or L2 could come in and, take the market by storm, like an Arbitrum or something like that. And it could really eat into Ethereum's market cap in the long run. Same with Bitcoin. I feel pretty bullish on Bitcoin in the long run. Like if we're looking, 3-5 years from now, I'm expecting Bitcoin to definitely be at new all-time highs for sure, over that 70K range, maybe peaking at that 100K range, just because of the fact that as we go over time, there's really less Bitcoin available, and that is going to, in my opinion, increase demand and increase price. So I feel pretty confident that Bitcoin's going to, be above 70K in the next handful of years, and Ethereum's going to be above 4 or 5K. So, in my opinion, I do feel like there's still better opportunities to buy both of those long. Like I think Bitcoin could see 20K, maybe sub 20K, maybe. I do think ETH could see sub 1,500 for sure. So I think there's potential better buying opportunities that the market's going to present itself with over the next, year or so. But I think long term, even if you bought right now, you can't go wrong. I think you'll come out on the winning end.
Yeah, I mean, you know me, I don't like Bitcoin. I'm not an investor of Bitcoin. I hate trading currencies, and it's been hard to trade, pretty much since we've launched Bread Bites. In my opinion, it's always been hard to trade, but I'm a huge Ethereum fan. I think that if I'm coming in, if I'm a Fortune 500 company and I'm like, you know what, regulations have happened, things are looking okay, I want to get on the blockchain, I'm not trusting anybody else other than Ethereum. I'm going to trust the OG. I'm going to, yes, it's going to cost a little bit more, but you're paying for that security. And not to say, I mean, I haven't studied these other, layer ones, but I just feel like, at least with my bare knowledge, it seems safer to be on Ethereum otherwise. But I think regardless, even if these other layers get, other chains get business, it's going to trickle up and it's going to trickle down. It's going to be great for crypto overall, because as money's coming in, I think Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to benefit from that. Even if I don't believe in, the investing in Bitcoin long term, I won't deny the fact that yes, people have given it a value and it will increase as more adoption happens. What's crazy to think is when you look at the actual adoption rate compared to global population, oh, there is so much upside. So as an investor, this is the perfect market to be in. And it's hard for people to see that because they think it's fake money. They think it's not going to last. And you got to get out of that old timey investing, mindset. Like the reason why Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett don't like crypto is because they don't understand it, because it's not real. Yes, it's fake. But when you boil down any currency, the US dollar, it's all fake. It's another, it kind of goes into the digital coin, dollar and all that. We already really have a digital dollar. Like I never carry cash.
I don't either.
It's a burden. So everything from my perspective, it's all ones and zeros getting moved on a screen. And yeah, I think the mindset of those old timies is like, this is something that is being designed for criminals to make money off of. But my argument to that is like the US dollar supports more criminal activity probably than crypto and all the currencies in the world combined.
Oh, yeah.
So I can't get on that argument. Yes, have there been shady things? Of course. But crypto is going through thousands of years of financial, history in 10 years, 20 years. So we are going to have hiccups, and I would like to think that the community learns a little bit each time, and as a whole, we're taking better steps to move forward. But yeah, I think Ethereum long-term is going to be great. But I mean, I also think that, there are going to be some opportunities. You mentioned ARB a little bit, but also in AVAX and Matic and DOT. These are other tokens that have real partnerships that I think companies like Disney have come in and recognized that, whether this might be something now or something later, there's an opportunity here. So I'm definitely excited to see that. But it would be nice to see a little bit more of that value investing coming into crypto. And that kind of ties into the final thing that we want to talk about, is just the overall mindset of the average crypto trader, because they are not value investors.
Definitely, they're far from it.
Far from it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the average crypto trader is, someone that, the problem with crypto trading in general is the fact that is leverage. I think that's the biggest problem. And it's good for the people that know what they're doing. It's bad for the people that don't know what they're doing. You can get liquidated super easily. But I think the biggest problem is the ability to show the screenshots of your profits. That is a killer for the average person. They see this person that got 1,000% gains on a Bitcoin trade, trading 75x on a trade, and Bitcoin went up, I don't know, a couple $100, and these fools made 1,000% or something like that. And then everybody's like, oh snap, I can go ahead and buy Bitcoin and 75x it, and I can make 1,000%. Problem is, what they don't realize is when you go super high leverage, your liquidation point is razor thin. So you have to time your entry, whether it's long or whether it's short. You got to time that thing pretty damn good, because if you miss it by a couple $100, you're getting liquidated, even if you ultimately guess the right price direction. And it's just like, that is one of the biggest problems with, I think, the crypto mindset, is they chase these crazy gains, FOMO. And they FOMO in, and they listen to all the influencers and stuff like that. Not to say that all influencers are bad. There are definitely some people out there that know what they're talking about, and there are a lot of people that are out there that know what they're talking about. And that's part of the reason why they end up being influencers, is because they tend to either be educational or know what they're talking about in a specific subject, and that's how they gain a following and grow their account and stuff like that. So, I think from that standpoint, it's good, but I think people hang on random people's word all the time. I mean, dude, I've seen it in our Discord. A random user will be like, you know what? I feel like this trade that I'm in is not going to be profitable. I'm going to go ahead and close it out. And then you see 3 or 4 other people that are like,
Me
yeah,
too.
man, I'm going to go and close that out. It's like, you don't even know anything. This guy could be a freaking bozo, and you have no earthly idea if this guy knows what he's saying, doesn't know what he's saying. But it's just, it's weird that these people will follow and just like execute trades or manage their money basically based off some random person that they have no idea who they are, saying something. It's different, in my opinion, than an influencer, because you're probably following an influencer. You've seen a lot of their tweets. You've seen a lot of their content. You've understood what they stand for, what they're about, what their, education level is and stuff like that. But when you see some random person in, a Discord group, or some random person comment on something on Twitter, and then people follow that, it's just like, how do you know? Like, this person has no credibility in any sense. I mean, they could be a genius or they could be a dumbass. You have no idea, but they just follow those people. So I think, from that standpoint, it's a challenge. And then obviously, like, you see all these people. The one thing that really gets me on the leverage side of things is, like, I personally, if I wanted to, I could trade $1 and put it in a trade, and I could 75x that trade, and I could make 1,000% or something like that, and I could share that out, and I could be making a couple bucks, but it looks amazing to the average user if I wanted to. And that, in my opinion, is where, and in general, even taking PEPE, like, for example, all the people that made a lot of money, you know what's going to happen next? The next meme coin that comes out, or anybody that talks about potential meme coins that comes out, people are going to be loading up. They're going to put in a ton of money, and they are going to get screwed. They're going to lose all that money because they saw that one moment, and they don't realize that, that moment is, a very, very small percentage of people. In my opinion, I equate this to, like, making it in the NFL or something like that. It's like a 0.01% chance that you're going to make it in the NFL. And in my opinion, you got a similar chance of catching one of these meme coins that is going to make you take $100 to turn it into $1 million. But everybody, when they're a kid or when they're younger, they're like, I'm going to be an NFL player. But harsh reality hits you in the face, and you realize, I'm not really that good.
I suck.
And I'm like, oh yeah, I actually suck at this. And then next thing you know, you're like, crap, I got to find another job or opportunity. And this is exactly what happens in crypto. These people all see that 0.01% that made it in a way, whether that's trading or whether that's investing in a project or investing in a coin. And they're like, you know what? Next one, I'm getting in. I missed this one. Next one, I'm doing it. Next one gets burnt, says crypto's a scam, bails.
Yeah.
That's crypto. That's the exact crypto mindset right there.
Yeah, I mean, we see it with bread bites, specifically bot hopping. People come in, they give it a 2 or 3 trades. Maybe it just happened to be 2 or 3 losses, and they're like, you know what? I see this other bot is hitting. They go to the other bot. The other bot has been on a streak. So naturally, statistically, what happens? They take losses. Meanwhile, their original bot is going up. And it's just like, you're doing yourself a disservice because you're just lowering your account balance each and every time that you bot hop. And you could say that with coins, tokens, anything in crypto. People hop around and they take these, what I would deem as unacceptable losses, because, and I hate to say this because it kind of feeds into the narrative, but I think people feel like it's fake money until it's big money. They're trying to chase it, and that's why they buy into this shit all the freaking time. And I mean, I know you remember all these crazy high APR percentages and people just diving into that and buying into, oh, we're going to be a millionaire. And it's just like, no, you're not going to be, because every buck that is made, somebody has to lose that. And what people find hard to believe is that there are professional sharks out in these waters. Their entire job is designed to eat all the little fish. And those whales are coming in and they are making huge freaking waves. And they're screwing over so many people that have no idea what they're doing, because those people are playing Monopoly when these whales are playing chess. And I mean, it's baffling to see how many mistakes are made. And it's kind of sad because going back to the core of this podcast, providing education from Bread Bites standpoint, sharing strategies, no one really takes that education and says, you know what, I'm going to not even if ours, like when it boils down, most of the education that I see, we're all saying the same stuff. That's what's crazy about it. No one wants to hear that, though. They want to know, how can I snort cocaine off a hooker's ass and make $1 million in 35 seconds trading a freaking meme coin? Like, I hate to say it, but that is essentially what a degen trader is all about. It's all Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah. 100%. It's kind of disappointing and frustrating to see. I mean, there are those folks out there that, when we share educational content, they absorb that and they take it. But the vast majority does not. They want to have us make their account go up and not go down, and they don't really care about how it happens or where it happens or what we do to make it happen. They just want. They were like, I put money in this, or I did this or that. I want my balance to go up. And if it's not going up, they don't, necessarily care to learn about why it didn't go up or what they can do to make it go up or anything like that. It's just, all right, I need to get into something different. Or, again, they're just like, all right, I'm going to YOLO the rest of this money on something crazy and see what happens to it. And then they blow their account up. And then next thing you know, it's, crypto is a scam, or, I lost all my money in crypto and stuff like that. And it's because most of the people are just not educated, and they don't want to take the time to educate. I'll be honest, like crypto and trading and stock markets and all that stuff, it's a long while before you really know what you're doing. Like, in my opinion, it's at least a year. It's probably 6 months of learning and then 6 months of failures and mistakes. And then once you've hit that year point, you've learned and understood the market, and you've learned from your mistakes on what you did wrong and what you could do differently in the future. And then you've really started your journey of knowing what the hell you're doing. But most people don't want to invest that year. They don't want that. They don't want to spend that year learning. They just want to be making money. And if they're not making money, then they're going to, YOLO on the next meme coin, or FOMO into the next play, or see someone that made 5,000% on something and buy in and ultimately get burned.
Yeah, I think the old saying is it takes 10,000 hours to master a skill. And it's like, it is definitely true with trading. And I think a lot of people think like trading is new, it's this new thing, but it has been around for centuries, long before the stock market was ever created, right? I mean, we've been trading since we were cavemen. And, the stock market was really designed for upper middle class to wealthy individuals. It was not designed for the, McDonald's employee, which, by the way, PEPE, for example, caters to that working class, right? It's the internet kind of changed everything, and it has allowed everyday people to get into the system of investing. And that's what I absolutely love about crypto, is that it allows everyone to be able to invest. And it's not just, those rich, wealthy people who, had just gotten lucky through their generational wealth, and they were able to keep investing and really kind of, putting the poor people in their place, as they would say. And I wish that my family had the opportunities that I'm hoping my kids are going to have, down the line. But, I definitely, I see this whole culture, and I hope it changes. And I think, I think it will change. It's going to take a lot of people to learn mistakes. And I think it's going to take it's like the gold rush. We had so many people. I'm a history buff, so I like to learn about this, but there were so many people that flocked to this gold, right? Because they got FOMO that gold has been struck. And so everybody flocked there, and they made dumb moves. They made dumb mistakes. They stayed when they should have gone. They kept pursuing during bad weather. A lot of people died just on the journey. And I think that is the accounts of all of these crypto traders. There's going to be a lot of accounts that don't make it, and they are going to lay the path for future investors that are going to hopefully have a better mindset. But I also think that we are in the wild west of crypto, and in the future, we probably won't see situations like PEPE. I mean, maybe we will, right? That is an anomaly. Like, I mean, I don't think any other meme coin has advanced as far quickly as that did. Yeah. So, I mean, there will be more opportunities like that, but I think it's going to be, especially as we go decades down the line, I think it's going to be far and fewer between.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think over the long term, people are going to learn from their mistakes. They're going to get burned on most of these meme coins, and then they're not going to invest in them. And then ultimately, long run, it's just there's not going to be that much to invest in. It's almost equivalent. It's just like a higher volatility version, in my opinion, of like kind of like penny stocks in a way. It's like, the penny stocks, when you're investing in penny stocks and you're trading them, most of them are not going to make it as a company. Just like in crypto, most of the coins that you invest in probably going to fail ultimately long term because they don't really have any real utility or backing or financial growth plan or anything like that. So, I think of it in that way, just like a higher volatility, higher risk version. So I think there's always going to be kind of that penny stock land of crypto. And it's going to be meme coins and just junk basically. But I think, over time, I think a lot of these people are going to, learn from their mistakes. It's just a matter of like, are they going to exit crypto, or are they going to learn from their mistakes and understand like, okay, if I go about things a little bit safer, I can actually make money in this space. And that's where the question really lies, in my opinion, of like, is the average user going to stick around and play it safe, or are they going to get burned and be, out the door?
Yeah. I know we're getting, close to wrapping up here. If I could, leave all of those people with one famous quote, it would be time in the market always outperforms time in the market. And it's so hard to time the market. You cannot time the peaks and the lows. Just if you believe in it, think long term, treat it like it's another investment. And if you're investing in your 401k, or if you're investing in a Roth IRA, you're not paying attention to the prices on the day to day. You believe in this long term, i.e., 30 plus years. And if you believe in crypto 30 plus years, I think you have a pretty good shot of making a shitload of money just by buying stuff now, whether that's Ethereum, Bitcoin, or any of the top 40. Of course, probably half of those are not going to exist, but the half that do, they are going to be, there's going to be a pretty hefty payday for those investors.
Yeah, you got to think of it almost from an investor standpoint of investing in businesses. Someone like Ashton Kutcher, I think he, invests in, 70, 80, 100 businesses, and his goal is, 1 to 5 of those are going to hit. And you got to kind of think of it in the same mindset. If you're investing in crypto, there's a handful of things that you already know, more than likely, 3, 5, 7 years from now, probably not even going to exist anymore. But if you're able to hit on a couple of those, it's going to make up for and exponentially grow, more than what you lost on a couple of these coins that ended up going by the wayside. So, if you have that long-term mindset, I feel confident that you're going to make a good bit of money in crypto. But if you don't and you're gambling on a bunch of stuff, you're probably going to get burned on most of it, and then, be out the door on crypto. And then 3 to 5 years from now, you're going to be kicking yourself on, what you didn't invest in.
Yeah. Play it smart. Think long term. I mean, that's a good mantra to live by, and I think that's a pretty good way to wrap this sucker up. I mean,
sure.
Yeah, we've been going for a bit. So again, if you'd like to follow the crumbs, you can do so on our socials at Baking Profits, at Bread Bites, at The Bread Maker, at DeFi Donut. And be sure to subscribe to this podcast on wherever you're listening to podcasts at. So we'll see you soon. Happy trading, everyone.
Catch you on the next one. Thanks.